Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Gamers. Some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. As you can just see, that was the opening to Angels with Scaly Wings, a furry visual novel on Steam that is focused around dragons. And I've had this on my wishlist for a while. It just recently went on sale on the Steam, Steam Autumn sale. I decided to grab it, and I'm going to play it for you. So guys, just go ahead and just sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes while I entertain you, and let's jump right in. Alarm chain, you're up, and let's go. I've heard very, very good things about this. Anyway, let's go ahead. Alright. Detecting user profile. User profile not found. Please enter a name. Keegan. Name of a character in a story I'm writing. Choose a color. Blue. Keegan. Does this look right? Yes. User profile confirmed. Before we start, please review the following information. Use left click or enter to advance in text and select menu options. Press space to advance text only. This is useful to avoid making a selection by mistake. Okay, toggle full screen. Full screen's already up. Okay. Hold Control and Tab to skip unseen just keep seeing messages. Take a screenshot. I'm going to click on text window. Ah. What do you mean middle click doesn't take me to save? That would be all. The year is something. Only recently has humanity discovered a portal that leads into a different world, populated with a race of intelligent, talking dragons. I was one of the few to travel to this world, but maybe I should start at the beginning. It all began when we discovered a strange device in the middle of nowhere during one of our expeditions. A portal. Ooh. I had heard about similar technology before, though that had been more on an experimental level. From what I knew, other portals had been created in the past and were under consideration for mass application. As for this one in particular, though, we did not know who had built it, nor when, or why when we found it in the wilderness where we did. What was more exciting to us was the fact that it was functional. After our first tests, we found there was someone else on the other side who was in possession of a similar portal, and our attempts at communication through letters were successful. But in the end, the machine's extraordinary demand for power meant we needed to act quickly, as we wouldn't be able to keep the portal open much longer. When we made this known to the other side, we received a very unexpected reply, a letter of invitation. After some deliberation, it was decided to accept their hospitality and send a person to the other side. There was an individual who took the job almost immediately. Reza Izquierdo. I knew him, or rather I had known him. We attended the same school back then, and even had a few classes together. We never really were very close friends, but we talked to each other occasionally and hung around with the same crowd sometimes. However, we still went our separate ways in the end. I wasn't sure what to think about the whole thing, but he had to have known what he was doing. He certainly was brave. Either that or just very, very foolish. I wasn't sure which. His courage was applauded by the others. After all, he couldn't possibly have known who or what would await him on the other end of that portal. And if he did meet someone there, who knew what kinds of intentions they might have? Not that any of the speculation on our part would have made a difference. When the day finally came, through he went, with applause echoing across the area. Equipped only with the clothes he wore, his multi-tool, a gun and device on his wrist that acted as a PDA. And then we waited. The crowd that was applauding him slowly dispersed when the enthusiasm died down, as there was nothing for us to do but wait and speculate. Approximately 8 hours later, we received our first message from him. While we had assumed the portal led to another in a different country, or maybe on a different continent, the reality turned out to be much more foreign. The situation he described to us was so outlandish that we initially took it as a joke. Okay. A very bad joke, maybe, with even worse timing and no punchline at all. It soon became clear to us, though, that we may just have made one of the most important discoveries since the dawn of mankind. Finding the portal had been remarkable in itself, but this took it to a completely different level. From what he described about the place, or more accurately, its inhabitants, we surmised it could not be part of Earth at all. We called them dragons, because according to Reza, that's what they were. Or at least what they resembled most. Even though we found it hard to believe, it had been these dragons who sent us all the letters. And what Reza found on the other side of the portal was a whole civilization of them. They could talk, write books, had buildings and electricity, In many ways, their society was actually very similar to our own. So who were they? And where was this place? Could they be aliens? Our speculations led us to conclude otherwise. After all, we knew about the existence of thousands of planets, millions of light years away, that may have been theoretically habitable. Yet even then, we had never found any conclusive proof in regards to actual alien life forms. Some people brought up quantum mechanics and parallel universes. But in the end, all of this was just conjecture and an ultimately fruitless endeavor, since we neither had the means nor the resources to explore these possibilities in greater detail. I think there's just one more thing worth mentioning before I move on. The previous isolation had been mutual. They hadn't known about any other intelligent life form beyond their own. The portal had only recently been discovered and was a technology previously unknown to them. And just as we had myths about dragons, they had myths about us. That was what we knew about them so far, and as interesting as learning those things and debating their cultural significance was, we didn't really know what we should make of it all. Reza apparently was sure what he was doing, though, as he eventually let us know that they had agreed on a trade. We were to give them a few of our PDA devices, which contained vast amounts of knowledge, dwarfing even that of encyclopedias. In return, they would supply us with generators. Overall, they didn't seem as technologically advanced as we had been, but they did surpass us in that one aspect. Their means of generating energy seemed sustainable. Not only that, but evidently also quite efficient. We certainly would be able to put technology like that to good use, and trading mere past knowledge of the human race for something more tangible was a good call on his part. That was where I came in. My prior experience in both biology and sociology made me a good fit to deliver our PDA devices for the trade. And while in the Dragon's world, waiting for the prototypes of our generators to be manufactured by them, I would act as an ambassador on humanity's behalf. What a way to make a first impression by a display of mutual goodwill. Everyone benefits and everyone goes home happy. All is well. At least, that was the plan. Despite the images that living, talking dragons might conjure up in some people's minds, I didn't even think of bringing a weapon myself, considering that they were reportedly friendly and peaceful enough. There was no need for me to fear potential ill intentions like Reza did when he had stepped into unknown territory. In acting as humanity's ambassador, I had to do my best to uphold a high standard in fostering this diplomatic relationship. When the time came for me to step through the portal, all my mental preparedness vanished. My anxiousness was fueled by all the questions lurking in my head, just as the machine started to do its work. Would it hurt? Who would I meet on the other side? What if they really weren't so friendly and just made Reza write those letters, with the pretense of appearing friendly, only to lure us into the den of man-eating monsters and certain doom, thus ending up as nothing more than a tasty afternoon snack? Maybe I should have brought a weapon after all. Suddenly I felt a shiver coursing throughout my whole body and beyond when I disintegrated, as if every cell, every atom of my body was torn from me and pulled into a different direction. Oof. Ooh, scales. That's cool. I saw darkness and light, painting patterns in the stars as I traveled, and images rapidly flashed before me of things unseen and unspoken, both horrifying and beautiful. It was an experience unlike any other, yet over in just a split second. Then it was dark. I could only see a patch of lighter color contrasting with its dark surroundings as my vision started to clear. Its edges got sharper as the patch of light slowly took shape, giving me the distinguished outline of a reptilian head and an array of horns sprouting from it. Oh, hello there. Why does he have a tie on? It's so cute. It was a dragon. And as I can see now, a dragon who not only had a pair of round glasses, but also wore a burgundy tie around its neck. In the name of our people, I bid you welcome. If I may introduce myself, I am Remy, your guide and ambassador, a representative of our council. The dragon spoke. It was one thing to have heard and read about this, but something else entirely to have one standing in front of me in flesh and blood, and tongue. It was good that all my mental preparedness had disappeared when I was teleported, because nothing could have prepared me for this. Sorry, I imagine you might still feel the effects of the teleportation. Drowsiness or weakness is not unusual, as is fainting and spontaneous emptying of your bowels, bladder, or stomach. How do you feel? Rendered speechless, I had totally forgotten that I was shouldering the burden of representing my people to them as well. So much for being professional, but at least it gave me a good excuse for my blunder. I think I'm alright. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe we should go before it gets too dark. Come with me, please. So I followed the dragon, not straying too far from him. as the sun had already departed for the day and the remaining light diminished by the minute. It's getting hard to see where I'm going. Sorry about that. But we had a good reason to schedule your arrival like this. We did not want you to be ambushed by a crowd, so we had to keep your exact time and date of arrival secret. Thanks. I suppose an event like this would make me a celebrity of sorts. It'd be the same if one of you came to us. That's quite an understatement. Some people here are rather superstitious. They might regard you or any of your kind as divine, I suppose. Really? How so? We do have certain myths that involve humans and as such. Oh, I suppose the history lesson will have to wait for another time. Here we are. By this point, it had gotten so dark that I could barely make out the building before us. I briefly wondered why they might have streetlights elsewhere, or if they just did not require any due to possible enhanced eyesight or night vision. I could vaguely see the dragon, his light color still visible within the blackness that engulfed the area, rear up and manipulate the door handle with one of his forepaws. Surprise party! Oh, wow. What a completely normal-looking living room. Hinges creaking, the door opened, and with the flick of a switch, the apartment was flooded with light, blinding me after all the time we had just spent without it. This is where you will live for the time being. It is fully stocked, but in case you need anything else, I left you a note with a few phone numbers. It is getting rather late, so I will have to take my leave now. In any case, someone will come and meet you tomorrow morning. Thank you, Remy. Have a good night. Until we meet again. Going to the light until we meet again. That's what the Corinthians say again and again. Knowledge is power. It grows like a flower. If you guys know what that is, you'll get a hug from me. I'm betting most of you will not understand that reference. With a nod, Remy left the apartment, mindful enough to close the door behind himself. Surveying the room, I considered the events that had just transpired as my gaze met the window. I could see movement outside, and as I drew nearer, I startled. I could hear footsteps in the grass, moving away quickly. Assuming it must have been the dragon I just met, I thought nothing of it as I went to bed and slowly succumbed to the sweet allure of sleep overdue. I spent a few moments thinking about my role, my mission, and what it meant to be here now. I felt the responsibility. I was eager for the adventure to come. What can I do? What can I do both? The responsibility placed on my shoulders. Okay. Now here I was, a stranger in a strange land. As I only began to feel the weight of the burden that lay upon me, the pressure of my task and the expectations I would have to meet in representing my species, and I would have to meet in representing my species, culture, and civilization. So many would depend on it, yet I did not even know where the only human contact I had currently was. I was alone. Ah! Ooh. Inception, Chapter 1. Very high production values in this. I love going on these adventures with you guys. It's so much fun. I woke from uneasy dreams looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. Just for a moment I wondered where I was before the events of last night all came back to me. After a good stretch I looked around the room, illuminated by the sunlight coming in from the window. Outside in the distance, the portal I had emerged from proudly stood on the peak of a small hill. Getting ready, I noticed something laying on the table. It was a note Remy had left for me in case I needed anything, along with his own... It's loud... Let me lower that. Down. There we go. Along with his own home phone and work number, there were also some numbers for the delivery of food and other necessities, as well as emergency and even janitorial services. He had certainly thought of everything, even though I now had to wonder what a dragon plumber might look like. My musings were interrupted when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I was met by another dragon. Oh, hello there. Hello, you must be Keegan. I'm Sebastian, and I'll be your escort, or security, I suppose. Usually I work for the police, though. Nice to meet you. He seemed a lot smaller than Remy, and when he somewhat nervously extended his arm towards me, I noticed that he apparently only walked on his hind legs, the two forelimbs instead having distinct arms, hands, and fingers. Kiss his hand. Aww. Let's kiss his hand. When I took his hand into mine, preparing to kiss it, I could feel the individual bumps and scales on his rough skin. Ha! Nice to meet you too, Sebastian. So where are you taking me? Straight to business, eh? We're going to visit the plant. We're going to visit the plant where you are, where they are making your generators. They have some news for you, or so I've heard. Reza will be there too. Sounds great. Just follow me. He like how he looked at his hand and just didn't say anything about it. While we walked, I was under the impression we were purposely avoiding the busier parts of the town, instead straying towards the edges and small alleys as to not garner too much attention. Even then, we got the occasional stare. After just a couple of minutes, we arrived at our destination where we were met by Reza, as well as yet another dragon, a vicious-looking beast that didn't stay too close to him. Vicious, huh? You more like handsome. Hey! Reza, long time no see. How true that is. Good to finally see another human face around here. What a coincidence to have you, of all people, show up. Yeah, I guess those degrees aren't so useless after all. By the way, who's your friend? Just my bodyguard, same as yours. Don't bother with him, he doesn't talk much. Ha! He looks grumpy. Very funny. The two dragons exchanged a few words, and as I met the gaze of the larger tenebrous dragon a few paces from us, Sebastian turned towards me and spoke up again. Hey, Keegan, this is Maverick. Nice to meet you. Yeah, whatever. Just don't expect me to give you any special treatment like everyone else is, and we'll be good. What are you talking about? So you're saying you haven't noticed the stairs and how they all treat you like you're the next messiah or something? No, I just thought... We're not the ones making a big deal out of this. You are. We're just here to get what we agreed on, and then we'll be gone. If anything, I'd actually prefer if you left us alone. You're the one who insists on following me around wherever I go. A growl escaped the darker dragon's trembling lips as he bared his teeth at Reza. Alright, that's quite enough. Let's just all go inside already, shall we? After you. Alright, Mr. Grumpy Durg. The crisis was quickly averted as we entered the building, which was characterized by its many floors, high ceilings, and long, narrow hallways as Sebastian led us to our destination. Oh, hello there. There you are. I was waiting for you. I swear to God, it looks like a rat. These are like dragon raptors or something. Wait a minute. I thought you were going to meet the guys from production. What are you doing here? They're only coming in later today, so you just have to make do with me. I see. Well, Keegan, this is Anna. She kind of manages this building, though actually she's more involved with the research wing rather than production and engineering. Nice to meet you. My pleasure. Yeah, I have something for you, by the way. It'll take them a while to make all the generators we promised, but we've got one for you here. Feel free to send it home and give it a test. That's great. I'll take it. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right here. I like this. This is cute. I like the art style. Alright guys, this has been Angels with Scaly Wings. I can't wait to delve more into this. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!